Hey guys, this is GOP Gamer One Boy, and I was debating if I should do stuff like this, like reaction content. But I mean, I like reaction content, and also it's very easy. So hey, if you want more of this kind of stuff, depending on if it's like certain videos or fucking whatever, really. Um, Also, don't mind the noise. It's like heavy raining. I don't know if you can actually hear that or not, but it's raining heavily. Yeah. Again, like if you want to see more reaction content, definitely put down the comments. What? I don't know if I'll do like shows or movie reactions. Maybe in the future, because that would also be fun. Um, but yeah, anyway, let's get right into it. We are watching uh 10 secret obsessions gamers don't like to admit or something like that by Game Ranks. Big shout out to them. And I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer my entire life almost. So I bet I have all 10 secret obsessions that I don't like to admit. Let's get into it.
Gamers are obsessed with games, right? Gamers are obsessed with games, right? There's a reason we play them. But what about stuff inside games we get fixated on? Hi, folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, 10 secret obsessions of gamers. Starting off with number 10, it's kill-death ratio. This might sound like a no-brainer, but believe it or not,
Yeah.
it's kind of different than you might think. Like, there's a good reason a lot of multiplayer games are moving.
I don't think I have that much affinity with KD. Because I don't really play stuff like Call of Duty that much anymore. But when I was like young teen, when I was like pretty young, I played the shit out of Black Ops 2. And I was addicted to that shit. Even when I was playing Black Ops 4 ages ago when that came out, and even Black Ops 6 when I returned to Call of Duty, I was addicted to the KD. I would look at it literally every like 3 minutes. It's like, yeah, I got 2 extra kills. What about it?
Moving away from constantly displaying your kills and deaths on the screen, because it's really easy to get obsessed with. Obviously, yes, it's something you should care about.
And then when you get those games where it's just constant assist because everyone steals your fucking kills, so your assist is like 60 and your KD is like fucking 1. It's annoying.
Like, we all want to get better at that ratio, and it's the easiest way to gauge how well you're doing in a game. But for a lot of people, it's easy to go too far with the KD. Like, there's a lot of gamers who exclusively focus on their own personal ratio
1.05.
above all else to the detriment of their team. Like, playing for a lot of people, it's easy to go too far with the KD. Like, there's a lot of gamers.
Oh, yeah, that's about right. Win streak 1. I mean, that's a pretty on average win-loss ratio right there.
Who
Not something you want to see, but it's pretty even.
Focus on their own personal ratio above all else to the detriment of their team, like playing cautious.
See, I don't think I focus on like win-loss ratio. It's more just like current game KD, you know?
Just sticking to sniping, not pushing objectives, or really making a major dent in the round. They just hide in a corner and camp the entire time, picking off somebody when they can, and avoiding any real danger. Not a huge deal when 1 or 2 people are doing it, but when everyone's obsessing over KDs, then multiplayer games just get really tedious. And yeah, everybody pretends they don't care about the ratio, like they're above it, and they're more about having fun or being a team player. But when push comes to shove, a lot of people start getting scared that deaths are gonna overcome the ratio, and the turtling begins. And I don't mean the bathroom related.
But I will
There's
pull
a
up
ton of
the,
people out there who
leaderboard
happily admit all they do is
every 3
obsess over the
minutes.
kills and deaths. It's kind of hardly the most secret gaming obsession out there, but there's a lot.
Like, I don't play PC, right? But if I was, I would have my second monitor just showing the KD. If that's possible. It's just like, one of your eyes just moves towards the second screen every now and again.
A lot of people out there who say they don't care, and secretly they do. In fact, they care
No,
more
I
than
own
anyone.
it.
And number 9 is
Not all the
game
time, but
performance,
I own it.
especially from people who say they don't care about graphics. If you're a PC gamer, doesn't matter how much you claim otherwise, in the back of your mind you care about
I'm
performance.
an Xbox
We all do,
gamer
that's
through
just the
and
way it
through.
is. Let's say you play games on both console and on PC. When you're on PC, you're trying to make it work better. When you're on console,
I
you're
prefer
not. Period.
performance.
When you're on PC, you can tinker, and eventually you get sucked in the rabbit hole, and you start watching benchmark videos and clicking through the PC gaming wiki for little tips and settings you can
That
integrate
seems
into your
torturous,
little
man.
setup. And at some point, the
I don't know how true that is, but that seems utterly horrible. Imagine going to play a game, and then you spend most of your time just figuring out the graphic settings. Oh,
obsession over performance takes precedence over actually playing the game, and that's when you know you've gone too far. Now, I'm as guilty of this as anyone else. When you get a new graphics card or
Oh,
PC,
dang
you really
right.
want to test everything out. Even if all you're eventually going to do is play Stardew Valley, it doesn't matter. This is another one of those things where, yeah, obviously there's nothing wrong with caring about performance. You want the best experience possible when you're playing a game, right?
That's
but
the best
it's not
experience
great when
possible,
it starts
dude.
getting in the way of actually enjoying
You
what
want
you have.
18
That's when it's
frames
gone
per
too
second.
far, you know? And number 8 is multitasking, also known as Alt-Tab Mania. So, distractions are a big thing in our modern digital age. There's so much crap out there to take in that it's kind of difficult to focus on a single task at any given time. Like, it's, yeah, fine, normal to watch some trash TV or something on a second screen or listen to a podcast where you're grinding an RPG or
I
something,
used
just
to
mindlessly playing
be
some
on
story free.
TikTok all
But some
night, yeah.
gamers really take things a lot further than that. I'm talking about all the alt-tabbers who are obsessed with doing something else while gaming. You know the type. You might be the type even. You start a
I
game
was
up,
the
play it
type.
for 5 minutes, then you alt-tab out to check Twitter, TikTok, or whatever. Then you come back to
I
the
used
game
to
for a few
do that when
minutes,
I
then it's
was,
back surfing the web. Like, it's
early in
impossible
my,
to get immersed in a game if you're
streaming
experiencing
career,
it in
quote,
5-minute bursts. But it's
I
an
used to do
obsession,
stuff
and
like
some
that.
people just can't help themselves. For this type of gamer, it's difficult to finish a game because of how
I know
easily
how to put my
distracted they are.
phone
But
down,
hey,
though.
if they're satisfied with what
Suck
they
it.
played, I don't know if it's right to complain. Like, unless it's multiplayer and, like, they get distracted in the middle of the match, that's a problem. But it seems like this happens more in single-player games anyway. So, I don't know. Probably most of us do this occasionally anyway. And maybe we're all a little afraid to admit it.
Oh my god.
And number 7, playing a game series in chronological order. It's another one of those weird obsessions that doesn't really make rational sense at times, but for some reason, a lot of people like getting into a game series and want to play them in chronological order. The game
Why
series
wouldn't
may
you?
not be chronologically in order when it's in chronological order, too. Let's just
Oh,
keep that in mind.
chronological order.
Like, there are games that are like
I thought you meant like from like first to last. Have I ever done that? Played a game series chronologically? Probably not. I don't think I have the effort to look up which ones come first. I do that with movies, you know. A big debate is like, oh, how do you watch like the Star Wars movies? I always, recommend watching episode 1 first, through 9. It's just the best experience.
Gears of War, where
But that is if, like, you don't really care about terrible, outdated movies, because the original trilogy is very outdated. Going from, like, what was it? Was it late 90s or early 2000s? I can't remember. Back towards, whenever the original trilogy came out. It's a jump. It's a jump, alright?
numerically the story progresses. Somebody starts at 1 and gets to 5. But then there's series like Final Fantasy where there's no continuity between the numbered games at all. And then there's Metal Gear Solid, which, yeah, you get the point there. The obsession, though, I mean, it's kind of commendable. You gotta respect somebody who really wants to appreciate the classics, but it can also inevitably lead to a burnout. See Final Fantasy. Trying to play that many games in short order, and especially when they're all pretty similar, like, let's say Ratchet and Clank, things start to get repetitive, and it can skew your perspective on the series. That's when you start to see the weird opinions from people about how they didn't like a game that most people consider to be the best in the series because they were just barreling through the entire series in a week and were starting to get tired of the whole thing at that point. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation because you either rush through and get bored or you wait a year between games and it takes a decade before you finally sit down and play the game that you wanted to play in the first place. And number 6, reloading. Ooh, didn't even have to go anywhere with that. You know what I mean. Everyone knows what I mean. This is an obsession that we all have.
Reload
and it can only be broken out of through intense practice. Play any FPS game that has reloading, and you know I'm going to reload whenever I don't need to shoot. Bam!
Exactly.
All right, defeated that guy, reload. Bam, bam! Okay, he's gone. Okay, reload. Doesn't matter that there's an enemy right around the corner. Doesn't matter that the KD ratio is going to plummet. That guy's...
That's just how it works, though, you know? Once your brain turns off shoot mode, it goes straight to reload mode. And then you forget you have, like, an LMG, and you have to reload for literally 20 seconds. And then you realize that while you're in the middle of the battlefield, and now you're dead. Happened too many times.
Dead, and I need to reload now. It's much worse in games with realistic reload mechanics, too. Like in games where if you reload, you lose the entire magazine. Then you're just actively hurting yourself every single time you reload. It doesn't matter, though. I have to reload.
It's
one of the dumbest obsessions,
I'm gonna
but we
die
all
if I don't.
have it. The only people who don't have it are those who have trained their brains with intense discipline. That's the only way they're not doing it. Yeah, sure, there's probably a few people out there who just never cared about ammo. But those people probably suck at the game. They're not thinking about ammo management
fucking
at all.
suck,
so
dude.
That's probably rare in terms of a long-term player of the game. And number 5, replaying a game and doing nothing differently. Like, a ton of games out there are all about player choice. You pick your class, good, evil, blah, blah. You do whatever, see how the story plays out. A big part of the appeal of these kinds of games is the replayability. You can go back and experience the story in a completely different way, or just a way where you diverge in some respect. That's the theory, anyway. For a lot of gamers out there, even when you do manage to go back through a second time, instead of trying out something new and experiencing if, you know, things change, people just do the same thing that they did the last time. Pick the same class, make the same choices, pretty much do it all the same. And I'm as guilty of this as anyone.
I don't really replay multiple choice games or RPGs. You know? Unless it's something like Dark Pictures where it's literally like 2 different perspectives through most of the game. You know? Then it's like, yeah, there's extra gameplay there, but if it's like Mass Effect or something, sure, some things are different, but most of it is just gonna be the same missions, a lot of the same dialogue. So unless you really like a game, don't do it.
So many games you can pick a good and an evil ending, and I'm just not interested in the evil ending. I mean, I'm not saying I'm never interested in the evil ending. Sometimes I'm interested in the evil ending, but most of the time I'm not. It just seems like human beings are creatures of habit, so we stick to things that are familiar, even when it's something as pointless as picking your virtual girlfriend in an RPG.
Yeah.
It's one of those little obsessions that's a secret for a reason. You're basically admitting that you like to waste your time. You know?
I like to admit that.
And number 4 is item hoarding. It's one of those obsessions that's super easy to admit while you're playing a game, but when it's a harder game, it goes from being something that's kind of funny to...
I remember when I was a kid, I'd hoard everything in, like, Skyrim or something. Every little basket and cheese I could find. If I could pick it up, I would. It would fuck me over in the long run, but... God, I needed that basket. I just needed it. Trust me. These days, though, I barely pick up anything. I literally... If I don't know what it does, or it's just not useful, I don't fucking pick it up for shit. Never. Never again.
legitimately obsessive behavior. Like, if you're saving elixirs in Final Fantasy VII, I don't think anybody's going to hold that against you. You never really need them in the game. It's a pretty easy RPG overall, so being a hoarder of that isn't really strange. But being a hoarder in a much harder game is weird. Like, imagine refusing to use Estus Flask upgrades or upgrade materials in, like, a Souls game. Obviously, single-use healing items never...
Oh, that kind of hoarding? Oh, I do that. Oh, yeah. Any game that lets you have, like, consumables, I don't ever use them unless I desperately need to. And even then, I probably won't. It's like, God, I need everything, you know? I can't explain it. I can't. It's like I never use them. But I need them. I need them for a moment that will never come.
You use, but all that other stuff, it should be fair game. Everybody holds on to resources in an RPG way past when you need them. It's just so easy to say they could come in handy later. I'm planning ahead because I'm a big old smarty pants.
Even though
Look
I
at
have
my
like
big old
20
brain.
of them.
It's only
I'm at the end of the
outsized
game.
by my inventory. But when it is a little later and you actually run into a boss that gives you trouble and you die constantly and you still refuse to use those items, that's an obsession. It's like in a Resident Evil game where you refuse to use ammo during a boss fight. It's just counterintuitive at a certain point. But, you know, also everybody's been there.
But
I know I've gotten a little
conserve
precious
it
about
for
ammo in a Resident Evil game.
5
And by the end,
zombies
I just
after the
made the game
boss
way
fight.
harder for myself with no
It's
real
worth it,
benefit.
trust me.
And number 3, starting the perfect game, aka
Last 3.
restart syndrome. If you ever play an RPG, a strategy game, or a city builder, and things just don't work out perfectly at the start, so you just completely restart the game. It's normal up to a certain point, but when people do it constantly, it becomes restart syndrome. Like you're constantly
Never done
restarting a
that,
game
ever.
after any minor setback. These are the types who just never finish a campaign in a game like Total Warhammer 2, or finish building a city
know those
in a
things people
SimCity
did.
game, or at least when
Crazy.
SimCity was a tolerable thing to play. Or looking at it more from the RPG side, this type of person is never quite satisfied with their build, or the character doesn't look quite right in-game, or you made some choice early that they didn't like. Instead of just rolling with it, they just start over. The character creation thing is a particular pet peeve of mine. I have friends where, you know, I enjoy playing single-player games through with them where you just hand off the controller and sort of experience the story, but there are some of them that do that specifically. It drives me nuts. It's one of those obsessions where perfect is the enemy of good, because you have to deal with at least a few setbacks in every game, and you just kind of have to roll with it. There's certain gamers who take this even further, where they won't continue from a save file at all. They have to restart all over if they're not going to get through it in one sitting, which sounds totally, absolutely nuts to me, but there are people like that. I know whenever I start a strategy game, it's always a hurdle getting past the first major setback. It can be tempting to
I
restart,
prefer binging shit. So, like, if I don't play a game fully within like a day, maybe 2, I just don't end up playing it. My brain literally just can't. Even if I love the game, most of the time I just won't. Same with shows and movies.
often better to just
have to
keep
binge
going.
it on.
Even if you lose, you at least learn something. Well, most of the time anyways. And number
You
2,
learn
the
something?
fear of missing out, also known as FOMO, which no one really wants to
I
admit
have
is
a
real,
lot of
but
that.
it's real. The thing about FOMO is there's so many different kinds of it when it comes to gaming. You could be talking about just about anything, from new games to graphics cards, the more traditional application of the term with stuff like battle passes and limited time events. All of it leads to FOMO. Everyone says they don't fall for it, that it doesn't bother them, and that they don't care, but the secret is that pretty much everybody falls for FOMO at least
fall
once in
for
a
it.
while. Maybe it's a game you get overly hyped about in pre-order, only to get burned by day one bugs, or a battle pass skin that actually looks cool, but it
And
doesn't
you
really
already
matter
played the
what it
game.
is, I guess. But you rush to get it, even when it shouldn't matter, because you don't want to miss out. Like, yes, Sonic the Hedgehog is running around in Sonic Frontiers for me with the soap shoes, because I signed up for their newsletter, because
Wait,
I
you could
wanted
do
the soap
that?
shoes. Like, you're still gonna be able to buy the game later, or that skin. Even if it's really gone forever,
didn't know
it's
you
just
could
kind
do
of a
that.
pointless piece of digital content that'll disappear eventually
Fuck,
anyway,
I got
so it
that
shouldn't matter,
release.
but it does.
Fuck.
It's natural. It's almost unavoidable. Like, we're all gonna make stupid decisions.
Don't worry though, I got the Blue Star hoverboard thing for Crossworlds. I signed up for that newsletter. You know, suck it, Sega.
Because of FOMO. No matter how frugal you are, someday a sale's gonna come around. It just seems like it's too good to pass up, but a better deal will come around. That's how it works. It's inevitable. And finally, at number one, the backlog, aka buying games and then not playing them.
Yep.
This one, perfect follow-up to FOMO, because a lot of the time FOMO causes it. So when it comes to free games, it's easy to admit you have a load to catch up on. Oh, there's a bunch of games on Game Pass I want to play because I have the Game Pass and it throws all of these games at me. That's easy to say. In fact, that's even the point of the service, to keep you subscribed because you got games that you haven't played yet that you can play because you don't have to pay any more to play them. But when it comes to a lot of games you buy, often at full price, there's a chance
I'm not
you're
gonna
one of the
play
people that never plays them, and that backlog gets embarrassing. Basically, this entire entry boils down to impulsive buying. You see something cool and you buy it. Even though you're already focusing on something else and probably don't have time to play it. Sure, you tell yourself you get around to it, but by the time you finish the game you're working on, the next big thing comes around. The previous game you bought gets pushed back. You tell yourself you'll get around to it, and then something else comes around, or there's a sale, whatever, and suddenly you got this massive backlog. It's one of those secrets that is both open and like very secret. Like for more casual gamers, it's almost a point of pride, but for more serious gamers, it's kind of an embarrassment. At a certain point, I had to admit to myself, I'm not gonna play all these games. I could probably stop buying games today and not be bored for a long time, maybe even the rest of my life.
But think of the sale. Think of that good old Black Friday sale. Or that producer fucking thing sale on Xbox. Think of the sale. You're saving 20% off a game you probably didn't even think of buying anyway. But that 20%. Think of the 20%.
I think about that for maybe half a second, but I'm still always checking Steam releases and also Steam sales. I see something that it's hard to resist, the backlog grows. In the grand scheme of things, who really cares how many games you own and how many you've actually finished? But a lot of gamers can't help but obsess over the backlog. It's always there, and it's never going to go away. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription.
Thank you. Alright. Yeah, I can relate to a lot of these. Not all of them. I think a lot of them are PC exclusives. But hey, whatever. I hope everyone enjoyed this new kind of video. I don't know where I'm going with it, but I was just bored, so I was like, fuck it. Yeah, again, hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next video or stream or something. I don't know. Bye-bye.